Ms Cabot, the procedures now that I've got to require you to take an oath or an affirmation, you have those two options. You can swear on the Bible or you can take an affirmation. Which would you prefer?
Bible, please.
Can you please place your right hand on the Bible? Do you swear by Almighty God that the evidence you shall give touching upon these matters now before the authority shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Right, thank you. Now, Ms Cabot, you filed a brief of evidence, is that right?
Yes.
You've got that in front of you?
Yes.
You read through it?
Yes.
Are there any changes or corrections you need to make to it?
Yes, I do have something I'd like to add.
All right, I'll ask your representative to lead that new evidence.
Why have you not called Mr White to give evidence today?
Unfortunately, he died shortly after Mr Pink's dismissal.
And tell me, Eddie, were the diamonds ever found?
Yes, they were found in the toilet cistern in the bathroom.
Thank you. That's all.
Ms Cabot, did you speak to Mr White on the day the diamonds were stolen?
Yes.
And did he indicate he'd worked with Mr Pink for the entire day with the exception of a 15-minute period?
Yes.
Did you see Mr Pink leave the premises that day?
No.
Did you speak to Mr Pink about what Mr White had said?
No, I didn't.
Did you ask Mr White what he was doing in the toilet?
No.
Can you explain why you dismissed Mr Pink without any further questioning of either him or Mr White?
Well, I thought I'd done enough. I mean, he lied to me about his whereabouts and he'd only been on the job one day.
So is it correct that you spoke to Mr Pink about the diamonds on the day of the incident after you'd spoken to Mr White about him leaving the premises?
Yes, I did.
Did you tell him did you tell him you thought he'd taken the diamonds?
Yes.
And how did he respond?
He didn't.
So why didn't you give him some time to think about your allegation that he may have taken the diamonds?
Well, I did, but he didn't respond. He just went red and said nothing else.
Did you ask Mr Pink if he wanted a support person or a legal representative present?
No, as I said, he'd only been on the job a day.
Before you made this decision to dismiss, did you tell him that might be the outcome of the process?
Well, I thought that would have been obvious.
Right, thank you, Ms Cabot. I've no further questions. I'll invite the applicant's representative to ask any questions.
Thank you. Ms Cabot, you said before in your evidence that you saw Mr White leave the toilets?
Yes.
And you also said that the diamonds were found in the toilets?
Yes.
Did you at any time see Mr Pink leave the toilets?
No, I didn't see him.
I'll refer you to your evidence where you stated that anyone who took the diamonds would have had blue-stained hands.
Yes.
At any time, did you examine Mr White's hands?
No.
At any time, did you examine Mr Pink's hands?
No.
I have no further questions for Ms Cabot.
Oh, thank you. Mike, do you have any questions in re-examination?
Nothing further, thanks.
Right, well, thank you both parties. So we'll take a short break of about 45 minutes, then I'll hear from both of you with your closing submissions.